I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget.
I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget.
I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost. I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget.
I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget.
I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost.
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel, and unscheduled call-in show tonight, man. I'm not sure what kind of participation we'll get. We'll see. I got my man Preston in the house for sure. Rob is in the house, man. Do me a favor. We need a sound check. Make sure everything sounds good. This is going to be just a little Friday night hangout. It is against Miss Tara Hill's best wishes. She seems to think that maybe I haven't had enough sleep here lately and I should be resting. But we're going to stink and get into it anyway, man. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Friday night. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I feel like I got a little bit of echo going on, man. What's up, Hutch? Yeah, do me a favor, give me a sound check, man. Make sure everything sounds good. I have not tested any of this, so when we open up the phone lines here in a little bit, if we get a caller, we will we'll see what everybody's got to say about this, man. But hopefully this will be my last video pertaining to the Jordan Hudson fiasco. But I definitely felt like it would be a good idea, man, just to kind of talk about what we saw today. Okay. What's up, Jimmy? Good to see you, brother. Good to stink and see you, man. And like I said, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my my 2 cents on this whole situation real quick again before we open up the phone lines. And I really do want to know what you guys think about this, whether you're a Tar Heel, whether you're not a stinking Tar Heel, man, inside, outside, whatever, dude. Because when Bill Belichick, and this is how I want to start it, man. When Bill Belichick was brought up as a potential hire, I was kind of surprised at the amount of individuals that were very skeptical. First, it started out with there's no way that he would take the Carolina job, right? That's just, it's beneath him. it's beneath him. And when it came to fruition, um, then it became, well, he's not going to be there for that long, right? There's no way that he's going to coach his first game. There's no way. The dude's not going to recruit. He can't relate to the kids. He can't, he's never been a college coach before. The game has passed him by. That's almost what it seems like everybody was trying to insinuate. And as we'll see here later, he has done a fantastic job in a short time frame, if you will, with the transfer portal, which is this kind of newer, uh, aspect of college football, the way that it's done right now. He's done a pretty daggum good job with the 2026 recruiting class to this point, as we'll see in a little bit. But then it almost seems like, when he defied all the odds, taking the job, actually recruiting, you know, changing the culture, et cetera, et cetera. It seems like there has been this concerted effort. Now, look, I'm not one for conspiracy theories per se, but it seems like there has been a concerted effort to derail this train. Now, I do believe that this could be coming from a bunch of different angles. All right. That's if this is even a thing. There were a lot of individuals, obviously, within the UNC football program that were on the Mac Brown train. I think a lot of people were upset how that ended. I think some of those very same people, we knew this during the coaching hire or the coaching search, that there were a lot of individuals who were not excited about the Bill Belichick hire. Um, I think that there are plenty of reasons why, on the outside looking in, some of the powers that be would despise this hire. And I think that there are a lot of people who simply don't want this to work. Um, and so when Bill has defied, basically he's overcome everything that they said that he couldn't do or wouldn't do. Now it's gotten into his personal life. And I understand that, to a certain extent, a lot of people will say that he and Jordan Hudson have brought this upon themselves. Okay, I think that's fair enough. But just the amount of, what's the word I'm looking for? The amount of media attention that this has received and just completely forsaken everything football is crazy to me. And today, I'm not going to lie, man, I was a little nervous. I was talking to the hooligans earlier. It's kind of silent this morning, and then something came over my daggone. I got a notification. And the notification was that Jordan Hudson had been banned from all football facilities. And my initial thought was, oh, shoot. Because I've been saying that this is a nothing burger. I've been saying, that this is just ridiculous. We need to stink and move on. We need to be focused about football, et cetera, et cetera. And then I go to Google and I'm trying to look this thing up. And I mean, there are reputable sites, ESPN, NBC Sports, man, the Bleacher Report, just everybody. Jordan Hudson banned from, UNC football facilities. And I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I said, my heart skipped a beat, and the reason is because once again, everybody knows the clause that's in Bill Belichick's contract. I think it's as of June 1st, and or maybe it's July. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you know, before this thing even gets started, like I said, I feel like there are people trying to push this thing off the tracks, especially when you look at what's been done in the recruiting landscape. And I thought to myself, like, what happens if this is true? I remember texting a couple of the guys and like, now they're messing with my guy's girl. Is he going to stand for that? You know, if they banned her from all football facilities, your significant other, would you not take that as a gut punch? What would be your response? And I told the guys, I said, hey man, this makes me nervous. It does. It made me nervous. And I'm pouring out my heart to you, Tar Heel Nation, on this one, man. It made me nervous. And then not long after that, come to find out UNC releases a statement and they say, hey, listen, that's not stinking true. But I want to go over here real quick and I want to look at this New York Post, article that was published on May 9th, 2025 at 1:27 p.m. And I want to talk a little bit about Bill Belichick and some of the stuff that's being said about his family because, and I'm trying to put this together and articulate this the best way that I can. Like I said, I'm a little sleep deprived right now, man, but I'm going to do my best. And I think that this is a good place to start. Okay. Let's go over here to the New York Post and we'll look at this headline right here. Bill Belichick's family digging into Jordan Hudson as fallout, keyword right there, from disastrous interview spirals. And it says the family of Bill Belichick is said to be extraordinarily concerned in matters regarding Jordan Hudson. The family, very general word used there, the family. That would incentivize. That almost says to me the entire family. The 24-year-old girlfriend of the UNC football coach remains at the center of controversy following the couple's disastrous appearance on CBS last month. And then, as we'll see a little bit later, Friday's installment of Pablo Torre finds out the former ESPN personality alleged the 8-time Super Bowl winner's family is digging into the beauty queen, who has immersed herself in Belichick's personal and professional affairs. This is the interesting thing right here. See if I can get that out of the way. Bill Belichick's family is extraordinarily concerned about what has transpired, Torre said on Friday's show. One Belichick family source told me, an anonymous source, there is deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be for not just for North Carolina, but Bill's legacy, reputation, everything he has built and worked for over decades. In fact, the family has been digging into Jordan Hudson as well. And then there's the gentleman right there, Pablo Torre, on his Find Out episode. And this is what I'll say just off the rip right now, dude. This has become a thing, and I feel like 100% Bill Belichick has kind of made his statement. He's told you how he feels about the thing, even though he hasn't necessarily specified it in words. He doesn't care what you think. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. And I think it's pretty shameful that his family, if this is even true, is going to a newspaper article and expressing these concerns, about a man who is sound of mind. I think it's ridiculous. I really do think that it's ridiculous, man. And then for this to come out, and we're not going to listen to this, for copyright reasons, but, the guy's got 105,000 subscribers. This video's got over 37,000 views. And basically he goes through and says, he talks about the family and, how they are really concerned about Jordan Hudson. And then we start getting into, how she has been banned from facilities. Well, ESPN released this at 11:33 a.m., which is a little bit before that actual New York Post article came out. University of North Carolina issued a statement Friday saying Bill Belichick's girlfriend is a welcome guest at football facilities after reports claimed that she had been banned by the school. Jordan Hudson's number 24-year-old girlfriend of the Tar Heels coach has gained notoriety for her assertive approach to Belichick's media presence and branding, including a back and forth during the CBS. Now, this is the key right here. I want you guys to focus in on this, okay? And I want you to notice this was taken from the UNC statement. So this is how Carolina feels about this whole thing. While Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the University or Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities, the school said in the statement. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university. And to me, that says it right there, right? So why do I bring this up? I bring this up, and it's ridiculous. Um, I bring this up because all the media that came out here saying that she was banned, right? Once again, just igniting a flame of this controversy that is, uh, Bill and his girlfriend. And the university comes out and says that's not true. And they released a statement and they said she's still welcome in all facilities and everything. And it just seems like there's a concerted effort to undermine what is happening at the University of North Carolina. And I don't know exactly where it's coming from, but I feel like, these attacks are so ridiculous, um, you know, that it can't just be coincidental. I mean, I really do think that it's just preposterous at the end of the day. And it really just overshadows what's actually occurring at UNC right now. 2025 class. Okay. And this is 247 inside Carolina. Transfer portal class, number 9 in the country. Overall rank 28th. Okay. Go over here to 2026. They have the 11th ranked recruiting class in the entire country right now in 2026. The guy's recruiting at a great level. But yet, we sit here and all we can really do is talk about Jordan Hudson and Bill Belichick. And maybe I'm part of the issue as well because I just can't, get this ridiculous story out of my mind. It's one of those May stories, right? We don't have college football yet. We're fiending for college football. So here we go. We got a Days of Our Lives segment going on as opposed to talking about the great things that Carolina is doing on the gridiron, man. And we're less than 4 months away from September 1st. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm just trying to get there at this point, without us somehow running Bill Belichick off. I don't think he will. But it's just crazy the heat from the outside at this stage, man. It's only been what, 4 or 5 months of coach being at the university, and just all this is going on, man. And I just think that it's ridiculous. And I'm genuinely honest, or I'm genuinely interested in what Tar Heel Nation has to say about this thing. Is this something that we should actually be worrying about? Is this something, or is this something that we should be actively pushing back against as allowing everybody else to make this the stinking narrative? Now, before I get in here, man, and open up the phone lines, if anybody wants to call, let me catch up on some of the chat real quick, man. Hutch is in the house. Said it sounds good, man. Good. Rob said, hey, Russ, unfortunately, my mom went home to be with the Lord on April 25th. Man, I hate to hear that, Rob. I'm sorry, brother. Prayers to you, my friend. I am sorry to hear that, Rob. I'm sorry to hear that, man. At least we know mom's in a better place, my friend. Preston said, we're going to win. I'm laughing at Georgia Tech, Miami, and anyone except Clemson and kind of FSU people. Yeah. I just, the amount of individuals press that think that it's almost like this guy doesn't know how to coach. It's pretty crazy, man. The pushback that we're seeing over here. Press said UNC is about to be included in the Power 2, up to UNC to be relevant. Yep, 100%, man. 100 stinking percent. Dennis in the house, Scott in the house. Hey, man, I want to know. So I'm going to open up these daggone phone lines, man. You guys tell me what is on your mind. Hopefully everything comes through well. If you guys want to call into the show and let me know what you think about this whole fiasco, man. This whole fiasco. You don't have to be a Tar Heel fan to call into the show. You can be an outsider and tell me, hey, Rush, you're ridiculous. You're a moron. This is a big deal. I can't believe you're trying to, brush this under the stinking rug. I mean, I'm all ears, man. Because like I said, this morning, when I saw all these various, publications saying that, she was banned, bro, I thought it was the end of the world. I thought there is no, because I'm thinking about myself as a man. What's up, Gary? Good to see you, brother. I'm thinking about myself as a man. You come and tell me, "Hey, listen, your wife's not welcome." Yeah, that's not going to fly. That's not going to fly. I don't really care what you think about you know, my significant other. You're not going to you're not going to stink and ban my wife from, you know, my workplace. Now obviously there's ways that you can, kind of guide how this thing operates and everything, but I would take it personally as a personal attack on me, and it wouldn't go over well, man. It wouldn't go over well. I hear you, press. I hear you, man. I'm not mad at you, brother. I'm not stinking mad at you, man. But and there are people that are genuinely concerned. I'm just trying to make sure that we don't get like just completely, bamboozled in, hey, just keep your eyes over here on the girlfriend. Um, you know, we don't want you to see what's happening over here. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. I was talking to Dennis about this earlier. I don't think Bill Belichick gives a rip. I really don't. People are like, I can't believe that he's allowing this woman to just completely um I can't believe he's allowing this woman to completely just take over his life. I think, dude, I think it's almost all part of the stinking plan. He does not give two rips if there's all these articles out there saying X, Y, and Z. Now, I'm not saying she doesn't care. I'm not saying that she's maybe not a little upset about this whole thing, but I'm telling you right now, I don't think for 1 second that he gives two rips, man. He is back there recruiting or assisting with recruiting. He's back there. He is back there putting these pieces together, man. And I think he's laughing all the way to the stinking bank in the sense that he's putting together one hell of a roster while the whole world is talking about his girlfriend, the number ninth ranked transfer portal class in the country, right? And I think that that's what he's focused on. I think that's what he's focused on. Even as I sit here, and I'm live streaming this video pertaining to his girlfriend. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. And it almost makes me wonder, like, what is it going to be next? First, it was he would never take the job. Then it was he's not going to recruit. I think that we can see that that's not necessarily, then the kids, then the kids won't resonate with him, so they're not going to want to come. I mean, once again, dude, it's got the third best thinking transfer portal class, you know, in the conference right now. And if you don't think that that's a big deal, it is. And the reason I'm focusing on the transfer portal class is because he came in late. So he didn't have that whole time to work on the 2025 actual recruiting class. A lot of those guys, beat feet because they didn't know who was going to be the stinking football coach. But the class that he's been able to work on, yeah, it's been pretty daggum good. It hasn't been exactly what we thought it was going to be in the sense of what type of personnel we're getting. But then when you kind of like take a step back and you realize what kind of personnel he wants, it all makes sense to me. It all stinking makes sense. And it's not to say that we won't be getting big time recruits in the future once they see what transpires, man. But I was really interested in what everybody else thinks. I know the hooligans. I know what all those guys think and everything. And eventually, what I'll do is I'm trying to get StreamYard together so that I can get these guys on a panel and hopefully we can get a couple of those guys on here. Maybe every week, every other week to talk about these things. So you're not just listening to me. But I was really interested to see what a lot, because I've had Tar Heels tell me, like, this is a big deal. She needs to be quiet. She needs to sit down. I don't want to see her anymore. This is a distraction. This is, and like I said, my question to you is this really a distraction? Or are we trying to make this a distraction? Because, you know, I personally, as a 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, I can't imagine being caught up with who my coach is dating. I don't care how significant the age gap is. I'm personally I'm personally worried about scoring touchdowns and trying to get to the stinking NFL, and showing out on stinking national television. Hutch with the 1999 said, "Hooligans for life." It's like the modern day New World Order, the NWO. Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%, man. I appreciate you, Hutch. I really do, man. I appreciate you for the 1999, man. You know, Hutch is my guy, man. He's been one of the ones who's telling me like, "Hey, man, I think there's a little bit more. I think there's a little bit more fire here with the smoke, Russ, than you're giving it." And I appreciate it, man. Hutch knows, man. I stinking very much do uh, value his opinion, man, especially from the outside looking in. But I wonder how much we are making this a daggum thing as opposed to focusing on what we should be focusing on, man. As opposed to what we should be focusing on. So I know it's Friday, man. I know that it's unscheduled uh show and everything. Everybody's probably Preston said he's already stinking gassed up. I got to work in a little bit, so I'm not gassed up. But what's up, Tar Heel Ron? Sitting here talking about the whole Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson fiasco, man. But this is, like I said, man, I'm tired of this, dude. The man he's of sound mind, okay? And if he's of sound mind and he has made the decision that this is how he wants to live his life, this is who he wants to be with, man, then can we just think and move on? Can we just think and move on, dude? And focus on football, And I guess the pushback would be, yeah, Russ, we can if she would just go somewhere and be quiet. Well, touche, man. Touche. I just don't want it to be the thing that like overshadows, what Carolina's doing behind the scenes, man. That is just my personal opinion on this whole thing, dude. So, like I said, I know that it was unscheduled. I know it's stinking 8 o'clock on a Friday night, and I know you guys got way better things to do than let's see. My man Dennis. What's going on, Dennis?
What's happening, man?
What's up, brother, man? Talk to me, dude.
My thing is this: is that first of all, no one ever thought that he would come to Carolina, and then once he got to Carolina, everybody started saying, "Well, he's like you said." I'm just repeating what you're saying. No one never thought that he would go and get people to come to Carolina, and he did it. So after that, they're running out of stories. They're actually running out of stories, and then they figure that they would attack him personally. Who gives a flip unless if Coach Belichick is not complaining about who he's dating or concerned for his well-being, if he's not complaining, we act like Coach Belichick is in a rest home somewhere,
right,
and we need to go and save him. He hasn't asked us for our opinion on his personal life.
right,
and until he does, it's nobody's business.
right.
And I know that everybody, if anybody got in anybody's personal business, they would be upset.
Yeah.
I think that the outside sources are looking for a story because we have to remember how much the University of North Carolina is hated. They don't like the fact that we got the GOAT, Michael Jordan. They don't like that we have the best linebacker, the best defense, one of the best defense. They don't like the fact that we got Bill Belichick. They do not want this program to succeed. Look at how successful North Carolina is in the other sports. And if we get football as successful as we have the other sports, that's what they don't want.
Right.
They don't want that. They don't, because they know. They were like, he can't recruit. And every time Coach Belichick brings in somebody, we get a different story. Like this guy, I'm telling you right now, North Carolina needs to ban that reporter from ever coming on campus again. Because if you notice how fast the University of North Carolina athletics jumped on that story and squashed it from the get-go because they know what's going on. And Carolina fans cannot succumb to this kind of foolishness. They don't want us to succeed. But Coach Belichick is going to succeed, and they're going to keep on hating, man.
I think you make a lot of sense, Dennis. I really do, man. And I know what the guys on the outside will say is, oh, man, the conspiracy, the whole world is against Carolina. I'm not saying that the whole world's against Carolina, but if you think about it, like you said, and people can laugh at this if they want to, when the age old adage that Carolina's a sleeping giant. Now they have
Right,
arguably the greatest coach of all time at the helm, even though he's obviously a little
right.
bit older. And people are, I think legitimately the powers that be are, slightly, they're afraid of what it could become. And so, you try to not allow the guy to even take the job. Oh, he'll never stinking coach there. And then you try to make it a big deal of how it's going to fail because he can't relate to the kids, and the kids are coming. And so now you have to
Mhm.
stink and attack the guy. You got to go after him
Dennis
personally.
making sense.
I appreciate you, press for the $20, man. Said Dennis is making sense. And
And and
go ahead,
and Russ,
brother.
you know what? I'm telling you right now. I look. If people got a problem with her, then you don't, your focus is not on the Tar Heels. I'm trying to see what has he done wrong. I do not believe for 1 minute that HBO pulled out of this thing simply because of her. I don't believe it. There was too much money. There was too much. I believe that I don't know this for a fact. It's just my opinion on this one. I believe as private as a coach and as private as Coach Belichick is, he didn't want his football team, his first year there, them getting all this exposure and causing them not to focus on what he's trying to build there and build the culture first. And
Right.
I don't believe for 1 second that HBO went and said, we don't want to be there because of this lady. I mean, come on, give me a break. I think a lot of people are upset because Coach Belichick is not allowing, like Mac Brown did, anybody off the street that had a press pass to get into practice.
Yep.
And he's not doing that, and a lot of people are upset about it.
I think you're making a ton of sense, Dennis. I really do, man. I think you're making a ton of sense, man. It's you know, it's almost conspiratorial, but I think there's a lot of people that would be vested in, they don't want this to work. And so now you just start attacking. And then you try, when somebody's being successful somewhere, now what do you have to do? You have to try to stink and divert the attention to over here, you know? And they've tried to
Right.
make this thing a mockery, dude. I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. I mean, the more and more that I'm hearing about, all this foolishness and everything, the more and more, and this morning, like I said, you guys know, I was a little stinking like, oh shoot, bro. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think that, dude, we're on the right track. There's so much pushback from this ridiculousness that we are on the right track, and I think that, the powers that be, to a certain extent, are just trying to derail this thing as much as they can. And it's funny to me because, as much talk as we've seen about all this, we're still getting recruits, to commit to North Carolina, you know, and
Yeah.
so it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not working.
You look, and Russ, I agree with you. And Russ, let me say this last thing here because I know there's other folks want to get in. I don't want to eat up all your time. But Russ, let me say this right here, and this is for my brothers, the hooligans. Hooligans, can you imagine if Coach Belichick would have had Sam Howell, Drake May, and Amarian Hampton? Where we would be?
I mean, yeah,
Where we would be?
like we talked about earlier, Drake and Omarion at the same time.
Yep.
Goodness gracious. I think he
Instead of
could have
us
found a
getting
way to
chocolate
win.
chip cookies.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, look, take care, man. We appreciate you. Stay safe, and man, we appreciate everything you do.
I appreciate you, Dennis. Thanks for calling in, brother. All right, man. We'll talk to you later. Yeah, man. My man, Dennis, man. I've had some very good conversations with Dennis, man. And like you said, man, some people were acting like this guy's in a daggum nursing home or something. And, he's just incapable of making his own decisions. And that's kind of what I got out of the whole family is extremely concerned. What are you concerned about, man? He's a grown man, dude. He's got all of his cognitive abilities. He's fine. I deal with this sometimes in my workplace. My man Hutch. What's going on, Hutch, man? Shoot me straight, brother.
Hey, yo, it's the bad guy of the hooligans calling in to talk to Russ and give my 2 cents.
I like
What's
it.
going on, boss?
What's up,
honestly,
brother?
man, huge shout out to all the hooligans, man. Preston, Scott, Lovey, Ryan, Dennis, Daryl, all you boys, man. Love all you guys, man. Just calling in to give my outsider perspective.
I like it.
Of this whole situation, man. And it's like, the whole issue that I have, man, is like there's so many receipts, and you may not believe them, but it's not HBO. It's NFL Films has come out and said that this chick demanded to be an executive producer. She wormed her way into his commercial during the Super Bowl for Dunkin' Donuts. It's like there's just receipts after receipts after receipts. And the question that keeps coming is, why do you care? It's his personal life. His personal life has bled into his professional life. And this is completely out of character. And it's crazy because, like, again, I've had a lot of, videos pop up on the algorithm of YouTube, probably because I watch a lot of your stuff and other NC stuff pops up. A lot of the Boston media is basically, they're just lampooning this. Now, do you honestly think that the Boston media, that is literally all homers, it's all literally Russ the Tar Heels, Boston, Bruins, Patriots, Red Sox, Celtics, lovers,
Right.
are going to try to throw this guy under the bus after what he accomplished with it? I don't think people realize, if you're of a certain age, what the Patriots were before he got there. And that was one of the most putrid franchises in history. Like, honestly, to this day, the worst football team I've ever seen on an NFL field is the 1990 Patriots.
Right.
And they were just dreadful year after year. Do you think that they want to see him fail? Or are they looking at it as, this is completely a 180 from this man's character? Russ, you know me pretty well, man. We've had some conversations, man. You know that I am a red-blooded American, Chevy Silverado driving, Coors Banquet friggin' drinking, 1911 carrying, Constitution loving American.
Yeah.
And if next week I call you up and be like, hey, man, Russ, I read this Communist Manifesto, and this Marx dude is friggin' amazing. You look at me like, dude, what is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, I'd probably ask you some questions.
And you brought up, okay, if somebody was talking about was not allowing your wife, how long have you guys been together? 18 years, 19 years?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Okay. So it's not this new relationship at all where your buddies are looking at you, and I can be your buddy and turn a blind eye, or I can be your friend and tell you stuff you don't want to hear.
True.
Because your friends are going to tell you stuff that, this girl's toxic. And I've been there. I've been there where my friends were trying to tell me, hey, this girl, we love you, bro. Like, this is someone that's going to destroy you. And they were right, but you can't see it because you got the rose-colored glasses on.
Right. And I get that
real quick. You're too close to it.
So I get it. But at what point, like, and this is where I'll push back a little bit, Hutch. At what point do you, as my friend, come to me and say, hey, bro, listen, she's not good for you, man. She's you're being different, okay? And I say, either I don't see it, or, hey, I think you're overreacting, or I say, you know what? I've counted the cost, man, and it's where I want to be. Eventually, I think it's like, hey, bro, he's a grown man. Let him make his decision. If he falls, he falls. If he, if it works, then it works, But and that's kind of my issue is, like, I think that he's made his statement by not saying anything. Hey,
correct.
This is who I'm with, man.
And honestly, brother, like, fair enough. I'd be like, look, man, I love you. You're my brother. I don't agree, but I got your back. But the issue is that it's now impacting the program. That's the issue that kind of everybody glosses over, is that it's her toxicity, her wanting to be this whatever that she's completely unqualified for, is impacting your program negatively. You may not want to believe she cost you hard knocks. She did. NFL Films has confirmed it through multiple outlets. This is what happened. And I think people have this conspiracy theory where it's like everybody's out to get Carolina. Like, look, man, born and raised in Pittsburgh, man. Like, I came to y'all through luck of the draw, through grace of God, man. I'm like, I still am a Pitt fan, and goddamn, like, if we could just win 8 games, like, cool. Like, just don't be an embarrassment.
Right, right.
I'm not hoping that you fail, okay? Like I said, one of the favorite places I've ever kicked the football. If you gave me a chance, I would be at Keenan every day of my life. I don't want to see this fail. I'm not coming at you from a point. I'm looking at you from a neutral observer, looking at this is what I see. And truthfully, I've coached the game. I've played the game. I'm not at the Division I level, but I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started coaching, I was 25 years old. I was in a small town in Illinois. I had the fortune of coaching with a guy who at that point had been coaching for 25 years, one of the most brilliant defensive minds I've ever been around. Coached Division II and FCS football for 25 years. Was so good as an X's and O's guy that he was interviewed by Al Davis to be the defensive backs coach of the Raiders. And Al Davis' only qualm was, look, man, I love you. You've never been a Division I coach, let alone in the NFL. I learned so much from this guy, not only X's and O's, but how to conduct yourself as a coach. And one of the things that he taught me is that these kids have to respect you. They have to respect you because they think they can make you better, and they have to respect you because you conduct yourself in the manner in which you expect them to conduct themselves. So you're going to tell me that you're going to have these kids posting something questionable on social media, and Bill's going to come questionable about it when this is what he's dating. This is the chick that's doing whatever she wants. I go back to about 15 years ago, man. Pitt hired, after they fired Wanstead, which was to me a mistake. I'm not going to get into that. They hired a guy named Mike Haywood who came from Miami of Ohio. It was a bad hire from the get-go. Guy there for 2 weeks, ends up getting arrested for assaulting his child's mother. And they fire, they had no choice but to fire him, because how are you going to have a head coach that is arrested for assaulting your child's mother, and you're going to go and tell these kids that we respect women in this program, we do all these things, we are held to the highest standard, we're this, and these kids are going to buy into you and believe you?
Right.
I mean, tell me how it's going to happen.
Yeah, it won't. It won't.
Right.
I'm just, like I said, I'm wondering how much of these 18 to 22-year-old kids are not respecting him because, let's just say hypothetically, like, hey, she cost us Hard Knocks. Because I think Preston brings up a good point. If it wasn't for Bill Belichick, Hard Knocks wouldn't even be. I mean, there's obviously one reason why Hard Knocks was interested after they couldn't get an NFL team, right? It's because Bill Belichick took the job at Carolina. So we're not even on their radar, if Bill is not the coach.
Again, it's sort of that. It's sort of that kind of sour grapes type theory, and I hate to say that, where you cost yourself a good thing. Whereas you look at, and again, I live in Austin. I live in the capital of burnt orange idiots, Texas morons. And the thing that everybody hated was Texas had its own network, and everybody in the Big 12. Part of what dissolved the Big 12 was the Big 12 didn't like the fact that Texas was going to air high school games on the Longhorn Network. It gave them a recruiting advantage. So you're going to tell me that it's, well, hey, 6 in one, half of it is the other. We had this built-in recruiting tool nationwide to showcase our program, and we lost it because the 24-year-old former cheerleader pageant girl screwed it up. And it's, c'est la vie. You're going to tell me that?
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's a huge loss. And I think that it's, it's unacceptable. Okay. I'm not at all trying to, say, it's not a big deal. It's obviously an unacceptable thing. But, like I said, in what other way is she negatively impacting the program aside from all this negative publicity because of, the silly interview? Because like you make a good point. The Hard Knocks thing, we were all excited about that. We were going to do a live stream and watch that thing once a week.
Yeah, and I remember.
We were all talking about that.
Here's my issue, Russ, is that it's the interview with CBS basically just brought all of this to the light. It wasn't a one-off. It was the catalyst. It was the tipping point, if you will.
Right.
Where it's all of the kind of the same thing. And I keep trying to come back to if this was a chick that showed up, did her little pageant wave, was in the background, that everybody just went, hey, dude, like 74-year-old coach, 73-year-old coach is like, he's got some hot tail. This would be a complete non-issue. Nobody would care. It would be nothing.
Yeah.
It's the fact that the way that she has conducted herself that has brought so much negative attention. And here's the thing, bro. I know you don't care, and I know that the issue is going to be, we don't care. If you read the comments nationwide on certain websites, like I follow Saturday Down South, which is an SEC page, they're just literally laughing and lampooning you. And I know you're going to say, we don't care, we don't give a crap. Why would you want to have anything like that where you have the large or people at large basically looking at your program as a joke?
Yeah.
I get it, man. It's like, is it really going to affect you? Probably not. But why would you want that?
Right.
Why would you ever want to have that negativity against your program?
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
That's a fair point.
And here's my last point. I'll get off. Where one of my favorite speeches of all time, man, is rest in peace, Mike Leach, when literally his last game at Texas Tech before he ended up being fired unceremoniously is, and I'll post it to the Huddle Hooligans. I'll post it to the Discord.
Okay.
Where he basically goes on a 9-minute rant after they beat Baylor and basically recaps the entire season, and he calls out a bunch of people that, you think you're something special. Some of you, MFers that played, 0 snaps, you think you got credit for Michael Crabtree's plays or this, that. It was all last year.
Mm-hmm.
All the plays that I called were last year. All of Bill Belichick's past is the past. It has zero relevance to today.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Yes, he's won Super Bowls. He's never coached at the college level. You guys are going to sell it's the GOAT, it's the whatever. Fine. All of that doesn't matter. And when you have all these things that are completely out of character for him standing in the way, I'm sorry, man. It's like that's just something that it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, it's the same thing if I call you up in the Rust next week, man. Like, hey, man, you got to read this book, The Communist Manifesto, man. It's great. It's completely out of character.
I
It's
get
this
it,
thing
man.
where I want this to succeed, Ross. Trust me. I'm going to say this.
I know you do, man. I know you do. And that's why I said I respect your outside perspective, brother. Let me ask you this real quick before you go. Real quick, Hutch.
And to answer Preston's question that just popped up on
That's
the
what
screen,
I was gonna ask
do I
you.
want Narduzzi or Belichick? That ain't a fair question because I don't want either. But I'd rather have Belichick than Narduzzi.
Here we go. Here we go. Here's the other side of that. I think you said it earlier. Do you want Belichick and his girl's craziness or no Belichick? Which one would you take if you're North Carolina?
See, it's kind of a loaded question because what's the alternative?
That's what I'm saying.
Because I look at it as, do I want, and here's the way I look at it. Do I want Belichick that is 73 years old, okay, could possibly give me a couple of really good seasons, and then either retire or die, whatever, and you're back to where you were beforehand? Or do I want to hire a guy who's 34 years old that is the guy that's going to lead this program for the next 20 or 25 years?
That's
does lead it to the heights that it hasn't seen since the early 80s.
Right.
So
that's fair enough, my friend.
Again, if Belichick was a 50-year-old guy, I'd have a different perspective.
Right. I get it, brother. I get it, man. Well, like I said, man, I appreciate it, Hutch. I'm sure you've swayed some people back. The pendulum has swung a little bit, man. And I appreciate.
Again, man, I think that this is just an issue where I think honestly, man, it just annoys me more than anything because it's like she should not have any of this power. She literally should just be this dude's freaking girlfriend, this dude's piece of tail, and nothing else. And it should have zero impact on your program.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. And if that was the case, none of this, we would not be having any of these conversations. This wouldn't be an issue. We'd be sitting there talking about X's and O's strategy, who they got in the portal, the schedule coming up. That's what we'd be talking about.
Yeah.
But because she's interjected herself into this program and he's allowed it, these are the conversations we're having.
Touche, my friend. Touche.
So
Well, I appreciate you, Hutch,
anyway,
man.
boss, love y'all. Love you hooligans, man. You may not like what I'm saying, man, but like I said, all you boys, Preston, Lovey, Dennis, Daryl, Ryan, Scott, you guys are my boys. Love y'all.
We
I'm
love
out,
you
bro.
too, brother. All right, Hutch, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Let's get one more in here. What's going on? You're on the phone with Russ. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Kobe.
What's up, Kobe? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Just
Doing
wanted
well.
to follow up with that caller. A couple of different thoughts about all this stuff. And I think the main thing, and my apologies, I missed the first 10, 15 minutes of the show, so sorry if I repeat anything that
Oh,
you
you're good,
said
brother.
or
Go
whatever.
ahead, man.
But I do think it's interesting how many people are talking about this and assuming that Bill Belichick is purely in line with Jordan, that Jordan is running the reins on these things. Because here's the other thing that people are missing is a couple days ago, reports started coming out that he is seeking external PR help, and which is basically the job Jordan's doing. She's doing PR.
Right.
And clearly, she's young. She's not super experienced. She's trying to step into that role, and clearly she doesn't know certain things. I work in media, and you don't, for instance, interrupt an interview. Like, you have those conversations before. So she's young and she's learning how to do all this. And so he probably is going to get some PR. And he's also seeing the news and the headlines, right? So he's seeing certain things that are maybe a little bit of a concern or things to change going forward with his brand and how all this is being navigated. And he's a smart guy, and I think we'll figure all this out. But people are just assuming, oh, Bill Belichick is 100% sold out, and he's doing all this with Jordan, and he's not paying attention. He doesn't know what's going on. I mean, he sees all the headlines. He sees all these things of like, okay, maybe I need to get some PR help. And I think that the reports that came out, like, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Clearly, she's not banned from the building, but clearly, of course, like, some people at the university have some issues with these things. But here's the other point that I just don't. What drives me crazy is everybody is saying this is a disaster. It's not working. All this and that. If we go 12-0 next year, none of this matters. Like, literally none of this matters. All that matters is if we win.
Yes.
And I understand the last caller, who is a Pitt fan, is saying it's not going to work and whatever. But it's like, dude, it's Bill Belichick. And this is the thing I keep going back to is like, how is Bill Belichick going to lose to Wake Forest University? Like, how is Bill Belichick? I just don't. I don't see it happening. I understand the argument he hasn't coached at the college level, but that's kind of like saying, oh, you've only been in the NBA, so you can't go play in China and be good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a step down from what he's done.
Right.
This is going to be, in my opinion, coaching against Wake Forest University and Virginia is easier than coaching against, whatever, these NFL teams.
Right. Yeah.
It's at a lower level. And,
Kobe, I think you make a
it's
good
also
point,
in the
man.
ACC.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you make it an excellent point, my friend. I mean, and we'll go over the schedule here in a second just to kind of, really, really put that into perspective. But continue, my friend. Continue.
No, yeah. I just think I think that people are assuming a lot of different things. Like, they're reading into this of, well, he has a young girlfriend, so he's not locked in. Like, he's not focused. What evidence is there for that? That he's not, like, he's always. I guarantee you he's working 24/7, and that's just always how he is. Like, career's always been the most important thing to him, and just because he has a girlfriend now, it's just kind of a weird argument. And the other thing is, like, yes, Jordan is involved in the program, but like, you could theoretically make the same argument for like Sally Brown. Like, she was very involved in the program. She was very involved with the players. She was at all the practices, mingling with families and the players and things like that. Right. I don't think it's necessarily bad that she's involved. I do think that she's an inexperienced PR and comms director, and he probably needs to get some additional help there, which, again, according to the reports that I've seen, he's doing that. And he's saying, okay, maybe this interview didn't go great. Maybe, we can work on some things here and bring some people in. But I just think it's very interesting that the media is writing this off as a disaster. And it is going to be hilarious if we go 11-1 next year and go to the CFP, which I'm not saying is going to happen in the first year, right? It might not. But let's say it does. it's going to be hilarious to watch the 180. Everybody's going to pretend they're not saying the things they're saying now. They're going to say, "Oh, we knew it was going to be good. We knew Bill Belichick. He is like." They're going to completely flip.
You know
what
they
I'm
will.
saying? Like
Yeah.
right now, they're going to flip. But right now, it's there was an interview and it wasn't great, right? Like I won't deny that it wasn't a great interview per se. But and then as it pertains to the brand of the university, I also don't understand how it's damaging the brand of the university, frankly. I mean, Bill Belichick, he's a professional guy. He's an upstanding guy. He does things the right way. Like, I'm just not I think that everybody's loving the drama of all this. And to me, it's just like, we're either going to win games or we're not. And he's going to go about things in the right way. And I have a lot of confidence in all of this. And I think all of this is just nonsense. And honestly, I don't think that Bill Belichick cares all that much,
Right.
to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think this is just what the media is spinning up, but I think he's just focused on winning. So
Yeah. Excellent call, Kobe. I really appreciate you calling in, man. And like you said, I think you make a terrific point just about the schedule and everything, and the pedigree of Bill against the guys that he's going to be coaching against. And you know, for as much has been made about Jordan, and I think we would all agree, it would probably behoove them, to maybe take a little bit more backseat approach. Sally was kind of obviously, like you said, involved, but she wasn't necessarily in the forefront. Um,
right.
so I completely agree with you right there, man. And then, you know, just the schedule, man. I mean, it is comical. Preston said a little bit earlier. He said, it's comical thinking about Bill coaching against these guys. And I really do think that I think that we're cooking, man. I really do. Behind the scenes, I think that we're cooking. And it's sad that we're sitting here talking about this right now. And like I said, man, I think excellent call, Kobe. Excellent call, my friend. And I appreciate you, dude. I really do, man.
Yep. We just have to remember all this media stuff. None of it matters if we win next year, and they will all pretend that they're not saying the things that they're saying.
Right,
they are
100%.
going to do a complete 180, which is what the sports media always does. They
Yep.
always say, "Oh, I knew that guy was going to be great. Oh,
Right.
I knew he was going to be a bust." And
Yeah,
it's not,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to take screenshots and we have to save these videos and just remember all the junk everybody's talking right now.
I like
if
it.
we do well next year.
I like it. I like it, Kobe. I like it, brother. Well, I
Sounds good,
appreciate
bro.
you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. Good
All
call,
right,
brother.
appreciate you. Have a good one.
All right, you too, brother.
Thank you. Bye.
Great call, man. Great call. And it's crazy because obviously we're so used. Hutch gives us great stuff all the time, man. I mean, that's actually 3 good calls, man. Dennis was, spitting facts, man, and then Hutch came from the other side, and Hutch is making us think about it from the other side, and then Kobe comes in here and he brings in some extra things, man. And like you said, man, we're talking about Bill Belichick. Look at this schedule, dude. Look at the schedule, man. I mean, Charlotte, TCU, Charlotte, Richmond, UCF, Scott Frost just got there. Obviously, Dabo's at Clemson. Cal, Virginia, Syracuse, Stanford, Wake Forest, Duke, NC State. I mean, goodness gracious, man. The coaching is not going to be an issue in the slightest, okay? We are not going to lose games because of the coaching. And what I was going to say, sorry, I lost my train of thought because I'm exhausted. For all the stuff that's been done, pertaining to Jordan, I would say, what has Bill Belichick done except be an absolute professional? I mean, to be completely honest with you, man, I think he's been extremely professional in everything that he's done. He's not an exciting interview. He's never been an exciting interview. And so we're focused on the girlfriend, and the head coach is the one who's kind of obviously making all of this happen, man. And he's doing great things behind the scenes, dude. And when you look at this schedule, let me just try to zoom this in for you, man, in case, because Chad says 2-11, or he says, he says year 2-11-1. I got you, brother. I read that very wrong. But TCU at Charlotte, Richmond at UCF, Clemson at Cal, Virginia at Syracuse, Stanford, at Wake. Look, I mean, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think we're gonna be all right, dude. I think we're gonna be all right. And like Kobe said, there's gonna be a lot of people, doing a 180 saying, "I told you so." Did you though? Like, did you? You know, and that's just how it's thinking goes. That's just how it's thinking goes, man. Um, but we'll see. We'll stink and see. Fantastic call, man. Really good call from Dennis Hutch and Kobe. I really appreciate you guys, man. Lovey said 6-6 or 7-5. I'm just trying to find stinking 5 or 6 teams, dude, that Bill Belichick won't be able to coach us into a W on that schedule. And obviously we'll get further into that, as the season draws nigh. But yeah, man, I personally think that once again this is one of those things, man, where
Hashtag hooligans for life. It's like the modern day
it's gonna repeat.
NWO.
I apologize, guys. It's one of those things where we need to get there. And I'm kind of where
Dennis
Preston is
making
right now.
sense.
I'm kind of where Preston is right now, man. 8 wins at the minimum. At the minimum. But I may be swayed. I may be swayed one way or the other. So, last chance, man. Last chance for stinking romance, dude. If you want to call in, give us your perspective. 919-590-3514. I appreciate everybody that was in here. Last minute. I get it. It's Friday night. I know a lot of you guys got parties to go to. Preston's already sauced, so he wasn't able to call in today. But pretty good show, man. And we got various perspectives, and I think, like I said, all 3 guys that called in, they gave us some good things to think about, man. But at the end of the day, like Kobe said, man, all that matters is come September 1st, man, the 2025 season, we get W's. And I feel really good about this, from the top to the bottom. This is just that one little kind of thorn in the heel right now, dude. This is just kind of that thorn in the heel. We'll get over it. We'll be all right. Everything is, it's going to be great, man. The skies will be Carolina blue, my friend. They will be Carolina blue. So I love you guys, man. I appreciate you once again, man. Thank you for all the love and support. Like I said, do me a favor on the way out, man. Hit that daggum like button because there will be people watch this a little bit later, man. And we're going to try to get a little bit more on a schedule for the call-in shows and everything so that we can get a little bit more participation. And there'll be some cool things coming up, man. So I love you guys. Have a good Friday night, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And you guys already know, baby, it is a great day to be a Tar Heel. Go Heels, baby.